All right, how we doing today? Everybody okay?
Yeah, everything's great.
Good, yeah. I'm good.
I'm tired.
Yeah? Yeah, slept like a baby last night. I'm good.
You were with a baby? That's
Full of energy today, Doug. Let me wipe my eyes. All right, let's go.
Going into this last 25, Pascal's going to be in a position of responsibility that he's never been in before.
Yep.
What do you expect from his teammates and from him in that regard?
Well, I think in general, Doug, we want to continue to give him as many reps as possible in a lot of different scenarios. So I guess to answer your question, his teammates are going to have to be accepting of that we're going to probably be maybe more high volume on purpose with him than maybe we would if we were just letting the game flow out or playing to the rhythm of the game or playing to matchups or whatever. So I just think we need to continue to polish his reps at bringing it up, facing double teams in the post, certain scoring plays, situations, things like that.
And do you think teams will game plan for him more greatly in this last quarter of the season when so much more on the line?
I think they're planning for him pretty much now anyway. So yeah, I would expect it to continue and maybe increase a little bit.
You always talk about getting teams A games because you're the defending champions.
Yeah.
Do you expect that to be more now that teams are really gunning for April?
I think that I always find this a strange time of year.
Well, yeah.
Going in. I think you think that there's teams that are fighting like hell to get in the playoffs. So you're getting a max effort from those teams. There's teams fighting for seeding at the top. So you're getting from those teams, and then the teams you would think that are done and out of it, you think, we're playing three teams that are out of the playoffs coming up, and they end up playing the guys are playing for contracts and playing better than they've played all year sometimes. So it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I think that each game always seems to, not every game, but most of the games seem to always end up in some type of competitive situation based on whatever, many factors, and you just play them, and it's good that they're competitive, and there's lots of different scenarios that you're having to face out there.
And those so-called bad teams have guys in combinations you probably may have never ever seen before. Is that?
Well, I think it's you're right. There's a combination of looking at the schedule and saying, oh, they've got 15 wins, right? And you're already off kilter a little bit probably. Then there's some guys you're not as familiar with, maybe some younger players or whatever. So there you're not maybe garnering enough respect. So again, your mental preparedness is dropping enough, and then you get in a game and they're playing really, really hard, and it all adds up to it. That's okay. It's fine. We've been through it. It's fine. It's now and then you got to adjust in games, and you got to be able to shift gears in games, and you got to be able to figure out each game as we go, and that's just all part of it.
Going back to Pascal, why was it important for you to have both he and Kyle on the floor late in that All-Star game? And is that something, especially for Pascal running things for him as he did in such a crucial situation, such a competitive game, is that something you think could pay dividends down the stretch for him?
Yeah, I think so. I guess I would say going into that thing, I had an idea of who I was going to play crunch time in the fourth quarter. It didn't quite pan out the way I thought it was going to pan out, but those games, those All-Star games, that's the second one I've been in 4 years or whatever, and there's always certain guys that decide they don't want to go much, or they don't want to play very minutes or whatever. There's guys that come into those things not 100% and whatever, so it turns out a little differently, and then you just really try to play it by feel, who's got it going and who you want to go with, and I knew it would be Giannis and Pascal and Kyle, right? Embiid obviously had a high level of interest, so he was in doing work out there, and Kemba was playing good. There's some other guys looking back on it that I might have gone to. You always do that when you lose. Right? So I should have played him. But I think the guys we had out there were right. But back to your question, it was excellent. That's the kind of situations we're going to need Pascal to be able to score in. High leverage, high talent, being guarded hard, being switched on, doubled on, tripled, sometimes in the block, and I thought he held his own well. I thought if he would have got a little better whistle, he really would have played well. I thought he made a couple great moves and got fouled on two of them and had nothing to show for him. So they were solid moves with good rhythm and timing and against really good players.
Nick, what have you seen out of Devin Booker's progression
Well, he's always been really good ever since he got here, right? As a pure shooter, scorer. He's one of those guys that I say he's got that amazing stop-start. He'll start barreling and just stop on a dime, and he transfers that energy straight up to get clearance on guys to shoot. Has he gotten better? Yeah. Years and games do that to you. I just think that his rhythm of getting you off balance, his ability to get space, he's got 100 different ways that he stops on that pull up to, when he knows the space is there, or to get you sitting down so he can get up over you or whatever. He just becomes increasingly harder to guard just with all the different kind of herky-jerky moves he's developed over the years. And it all comes back to he's a prolific shooter. You got to be up on the screen and roll, and if you're up, he's going to put his head down and crack into the paint because he's got athletic ability, size to bounce you in there as well. He's a scorer, man. He's as good a scorer as there is.
Like a star in our team.
Yep.
Is there a way to get to him to, I wouldn't say take his confidence, but kind of plant the seed of doubt?
Well, sometimes there is, Jonesy. I think that you've seen us play against some of the stars of the league, and sometimes we decide to unleash an all-out assault to limit their touches and shots and put two people on them and just somehow not let what they normally do, that guy getting 30 a night, be what they do. But it's always, you got to make that decision or not, right? Or you got to decide you're going to live with the mixed plan. Sometimes you're going to see how it goes. You're going to be up on him, obviously, and try to limit touches and stuff, and then mix in some blitzes and double teams and things, and call them off. And I haven't decided which of those. It's kind of a three choices, right? It's either all, nothing, or some of each. So I haven't quite decided yet, but I'll do that sometime before game time tomorrow.
What do you see that Monty's run to this team in terms of coaching this team?
Yeah. I always think, Sherm, that you can see that he's instilled defense, right? An organized system of defense, and an organized system on offense where they look like spacing's good, the timing's decent, they know what they're doing, right? They know what option is there, what if that one isn't there to the next one. You see a team that's organized pretty quickly to the eye when you're watching them play, and I think that is certainly to his credit. He's a really good coach. He's been a really good coach in this league. He's great ATO. He's great in set plays. He's creative. Does some different things, and I think he's serious about it. He gets them to play like pros and gets them to play hard.
Is that how coaches judge other coaches, ATOs and special teams and that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, if I'm just watching a game casually, all right, I think it stands out to me that the team is bought in, the team is organized, right? I just think you can see those things, and that's kind of like, it's kind of like a main point. If you don't have a bought in, organized team, then you're just kind of out there playing, right?
So it's more than whether shots will win or not, or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. The shots are going to come and go, right? I think there is some points to, getting rhythm shots. Why do they make? They seem to make more than most teams. Well, a little bit better rhythm, a little bit more space, a little bit better clearance, whatever it is. And then the guarding part, right? Getting teams to commit and guard and play over the course of an NBA season is probably one of the biggest challenges.
Do you find yourself watching how other teams are coached as opposed to how they play when you're just watching a game? Yeah,
I do both. I think I do both. Listen, it's part of my job is to know my counterpart. What are they? If you give me a name, I should be able to give you 5 sentences of who they are, because that plays an important part in our scouting.
Do you expect that Mark available tomorrow?
I don't think so. I think Mark is here. He's getting treatment. I think we're still gonna wait a little bit with him and see, just give him a little bit more time. The main thing for me right now is that he's fully healed, and we don't want to go backwards again with this thing. And the most important thing is he gets some games in before the playoffs. So I'm We're just going to sit tight for a little bit.
Do you have a number of games?
Well, I don't.
Like to have
I
the
don't,
number?
but I would say it probably minimum would be 8 to 12, probably. Yeah.
How are you kind of weighing the disadvantage of so rarely having a full roster and being able to build cohesion with the advantage of learning to be adaptable?
Well, here's what I do. I like to change those things into advantages. I think that the advantage is this. I think that Serge is getting tremendous growth here. His minutes, his reps, the situations that he's having to play in and night out is obviously making him, he's having a great season and he's becoming a better player. So it really excites me, right? So take a disadvantage into a huge advantage. It probably gives us a chance to get Boucher and Rondé out there, both probably a smidgen out of position, but at least it gives us a chance to get them out there and give them more reps to improve and see, if we can possibly use them in the playoffs as well. So we'll look at it from the bright side, and I think it'll rest Mark in general, which I think is much to our advantage as well. You good?
Thank you, sir.
All right, everybody.